And it is another 3 points in the bag, which means City go back to the top of the Premier League, of course, only by 1 point. It finished Manchester City 3, Brighton 0. Here to get into that is Nedum Onuoha and Michael Brown. Thank you for joining us on Matchday Live. Nedum, he was there. It was nervy here in the stadium, but the team soon came out and alleviated them nerves, didn't they, in that second half?
Yeah, they did, yeah. I think they started the second half pretty well on the front foot, gave the crowd something to sort of get behind. And then you started seeing some energy. It was like the angry Kevin De Bruyne for parts there. And I was saying to the guys, I love that. I love that because you can see he's got like a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and you can see the way he drove for that first goal with Mahrez. And once that goal went in, for me, it's a different game because for Brighton, they're thinking maybe they have to come out more, but that doesn't suit their style, doesn't suit their plan.
Yeah.
But I think for City, it's another lesson in patience. You walk away from this with a 3-0 win, and it's not all come in the first half. But the fact is, it's still a 3-0 win. It was just a very convincing win at this stage of the season in the Premier League. It
really, really is, and it was a joy there to watch there in the second half. And Michael, you said you were looking for a little bit more pace, maybe just taking it up a little gear, and they certainly did that. Were you happy with what you saw in those 45 minutes?
We talked about runs and stretching them Brighton and actually trying to get them behind, making the pitch a little bit bigger. De Bruyne getting to those areas, and straight away I thought the tempo was up slightly, some good forward runs, and at that point, space was there. De Bruyne's run, I mean, it's ridiculous. I think he was fouled 4 times, was he not, in the actual build-up to it. And then obviously right fell into the path of Riyad Mahrez, but that was the difference. I feel like we talked about so many times, when he's on the pitch, it wasn't just him, but when he is on the pitch, those things happen.
Yeah.
He's given a bit of space, over time, the dynamics of going forward, and as any youngster, isn't it, to run at that speed and to have the quality is the difference.
Yes.
You can run laboured, you can run around at one pace, but he does it with the ball quicker than anybody.
Yeah.
And at that point, things open up, doesn't it? It's no coincidence.
For sure.
It's that power and strength as well. I mean, like you say, I was
He's
watching
a big fella, He's a big fella.
Tell you what. Wanted to ask you, Matt, because you were saying as well before the show when we talked about, not only what does De Bruyne bring on the pitch as far as technical-wise and the passes that he can play, but like you say, he does make the opposition as well. He gives them an extra thought. It's another added thing to think about, isn't it? Which also creates problems in itself for the opposition.
Well, it does. I think it's one of those. Is how do you pick him up? So you're a central midfield player. You're looking around, and City have some different options, don't they? Bernardo just in behind you. So what do you do? Do you actually wait, or do you go with Kevin De Bruyne? And the power of those runs, but out of possession. I think that's something you're talking about. You go, how does he affect the team? The pressing's so good, he can go up and make that 4-4-2 in a press, or 4-2-4 in fact, but he can go and join Bernardo Silva, which actually, it's very brave actually, out of possession from City actually to go and do that. And then he's got that little bit of bite towards the end on the touchline. He come over, protecting, that little nudge, desires there.
Yeah.
And then there's that fight, determination that City are not going to be pushed over anymore.
No.
And it's different ways to win. And it was a great second half performance. And as we talked about the press, you get goals by it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of where one of the goals came from. Well, let's get into the goals. You kind of alluded to that first one there, which was the powerhouse run, a Yaya Toure-esque, one might say, from Kevin De Bruyne.
It's the first shot, yeah.
And then it kind of fell to Riyad Mahrez. Now, he was at our end here in the studio, for anyone watching. It was at this end here in the stadium. Was it a little deflection for Mahrez?
It was a big deflection, but I think it was still going in anyway. But it's just funny how it went through, because it was a brilliant bit of play by Kevin, you know what I mean? Like, that is a train. You're just trying to, latch on to see if you can maybe go along for the ride. You're not going to stop him. And then there are a few ricochets, and it fell to Riyad. And, it's credit to him for being there, because sometimes, when you see players take off like that, some people just watch. But I think the best players, they always want to be involved.
Yes.
And the fact that he got himself in there, the ball fell to him. And, it fell to the top scorer for the football club.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, the ball went into the back of the net.
Absolutely. That made it 1-0. And then the second goal, Michael Brown, it came from none other than one of our own, Phil Foden. Talk us through it.
I think that's the one, isn't it? You're looking at Phil Foden. We said if he gets opportunities, great striker of the ball. He had a chance late on where it fell. He was going for the volley, and you're thinking, can you do that at the back post? But he gets his shot away. Yes, there was a real slice of luck. It was a big deflection into the far corner, but he got himself there. He got some space. He got out of his feet. We were talking about shots on target, having a go at half-time, and he was actually with intent. He gets his head over the ball, gets in the right direction, and then, you get a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
but he's actually created that space, gone for the short corner, and away it goes.
That's I think as well. By the end of the second half, we were talking about the shots on target. Ended up being, I think, 17 shots for City, and I think 5 or 6 on target. So it just goes to show they really up the ante. And then for the third goal, and for me, Kevin De Bruyne got the man of the match here inside the Etihad Stadium, and rightly so. But for me, a close second was the scorer of our third goal, Bernardo Silva. I mean, again, he was everywhere, and lovely finish from him, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's everywhere. He covers a lot of mileage. You can't get tired just watching him play, and it's a fantastic finish. The mode that he's in. Ball drops him on the edge of the box. Yeah, I'll just take it first time, just pop it in there, and I think it's the way they do it.
Finish that though, isn't it?
Do you know it's the way they do it? I remember there was. This is for the City proper narcs out there. I remember a good few years ago, I was playing with Bernardo Corradi and Rolando Bianchi.
Yeah.
These were good signings. They came over from Italy. I think one was from Lazio, one was from Torino. And their finishing style was to kick everything as hard as possible. Fast forward a year, you had Rubinho and Alano, and their finishing style was to just roll it into the net because they realised that that's a goal.
Yeah.
And when you see the way Bernardo finishes sometimes...
Give the goalkeeper the
just put the ball in the right place and not try and just kick the life out of it. There is a time and a place for kicking it hard.
Yes.
But it's just finding the right place. And I think we've probably seen, one of the best players in history in Lionel Messi show that as long as the ball goes into the goal, then it's a good finish. Mm-hmm. And from that finish from Bernardo is exactly that. It's not the hardest strike you'll ever see, but it's placed in the worst place for the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
It's just,
it's difficult to hit like that, as well. And you do the build-up, the team ethic. You're winning the game 2-0. You're forcing the goalkeeper, plays one short, then another one. The press is still on. And finally, they're all on the front foot, all coming forward, one bum, inside. And then after he's chased around, he had the audacity to make that actual finish, not to take the touch. Because he'd been taking a lot of touch, and he'd getting to the byline, checking back, not fizzing the ball across. But I think that just summed it up. The patience, the team, the work rate. I think Pep Guardiola would be delighted with that last goal.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And I wanted to ask you as well, actually, because we saw a couple changes actually early on. We obviously saw Raque coming off at half time, and then John Stones, I think, was taken off as a precaution. But generally, if the players are sat on the bench, and I think there was a bit of an embrace between Pep, usually they're all right, aren't they, Michael?
Well, fingers crossed. I watched it very closely, had a look, and I was watching his ice pack come out, and I'm thinking, is everything going to be all right? And as former players, you tend to get a feeling when there is something. There's a lot of talk behind the hands, so there was something there. And when I initially seen the substitution, I thought that's a good one. Cancelo for next week suspended. Kyle Walker, we'll have to wait to see what happens there. Mm-hmm. So you're looking and thinking, well, who's in that full-back position? I think it was a good one. It was an interesting choice, wasn't it, at half-time? That he obviously moved everything around to put Stones at right back.
Yes.
Cancelo across the left back, bringing Diaz and Laporte. Zinchenko will feel a little bit disappointed, but it was a good hug. He got some minutes, obviously, coming on for John Stones. But it worked. It was great to see Ruben Diaz back on the pitch. I thought he looked lean. I thought he looked healthy. It's very important, and it's just a great addition again, isn't it?
There's a great question actually here from Grant. It is on WhatsApp, so thank you, Grant, for getting in touch. He said, as a player, how encouraging is it when a player with the leadership and presence of Diaz comes back into the team? Yeah,
I think it's massive, but then the two sides to that, you're talking about coming back into the team or just coming back into the group and squad. What do you reckon?
I'd say coming back into the team.
Okay, well, if I was a centre-back, I'd be thinking, wow, Ruben's back. Oh, God, you know what I mean? Maybe my time's going to be up a little bit here. But in terms, I'm just joking around, but in terms of him being back into that group, they matter. You look around when you see that type of player. Whether you're training, whether you're doing a warm-up, whether he's out playing alongside you, they can make a big difference. They can set the tone.
He's so professional, though.
Yeah, that's something.
I think
100%.
That's something everyone is, if they're not aware, who's listening, etc., of the levels, the details, and what he goes through.
Yeah.
And hopefully Nathan Ake is okay as well.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
So there's a bit of a risk reward to how many minutes everybody plays, and so a slight worry there. And Stones as well.
Yeah, hopefully they are fine. And for the Stones, one you're hoping is just him using his experience to just say, well, it's not quite going the way I want to with my body, so I'm just going to come off at this point. But yeah, with these players, when all those players are available, just picture how competitive training is. You know what I mean? And when it's that
what you're saying is, when it's that competitive, do you go a little bit of extra mile when?
I think
to make sure
not necessarily to hurt someone, but I think this is where
does it really go up a notch? And
I think this is where you can get better as a player, because when the quality is that high in training, you have to match that, and it gives you a chance to develop as a player.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So what did you do? When you seen it, did you look across and go, "Oh, it's great to have him back," and I might lose me?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Because I wouldn't think I might lose my position. It's like I know I'm losing my position. My time's up.
If they're all equal, especially the three we're talking about,
it's just
it's a funny one. Isn't it? You buy into the team, like Pep said.
Yeah, I think there's a psychology.
So
they are a collective, but every single one of them.
When it comes to Real Madrid next week,
yes.
Let me tell you, I'm competitive.
Yeah,
I'm all out.
Yeah.
There's two positions. There's three of us.
You're not gonna give the manager any reason to not play you. No way. But then that's the beautiful thing then, because the psychology. Say you go out to train, and like say you're on opposite sides, but like Diaz is doing well against Sterling or something down there. Then I'm thinking, right, okay, well, come on then, someone come here. I'm gonna just do a bit. See, I'm looking good as well. You know what I mean?
Look at that core strength still there.
Just about. I didn't really lean into you.
That's
That's why.
check from Nedum in the time. That's on camera. That's somewhere. Listen, the records keep on being broken here. I mean, this is just a record that Pep has set, because that has marked his 250 win in all competitions as Manchester City manager. I mean, Michael, how do you even put that into words? How do you quantify that?
I'm going to jump in now.
Go on.
I don't think in my career I got half of that.
I can guarantee you didn't.
So the two of us, how many do you reckon you've got in yours?
Probably three.
That's him in how many years at City? How many years is that? 250.
Thanks for that. Anyway.
250.
But seriously,
that's a lot of promotion wins, though. You know what I mean? That's
it is great, isn't it? I mean,
that's like 250 is outrageous.
Yeah,
that's absolutely outrageous.
It is outrageous.
You know what I mean? Like
at
some point, I think we'll look back and really see how significant he was at this time for City.
Yeah.
250 wins. If it was across 10 years, you'd be like, oh, that's incredible. Is it 6 years?
This is fifth year, but yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
got the information.
You got the earpiece in or anything like that.
Don't worry about
figure
that.
out.
No, it was because he signed his extension, didn't he? So this will be
it's amazing, really, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you think. It's just like looking around. You're a top coach, and you're looking and thinking, right, he's getting 250 wins. How do I come up against him? He's getting better and better and better. It's just like, it's just amazing. We're so lucky. We're listening to record week in, week out at this football
Even
club.
like before the game, when Kel said, "Oh, they've won 18 times in a row, whatever, on Wednesdays." Like that's a wild stat. But then also, it's like you think about it, so what? Like that's insane. Anybody turn up on a Wednesday and say, "Well, you know, we're here again. We're playing against."
Do you know what?
Do
you know everybody will be lining up to tell him that stat, won't they? And all the interviews, everybody afterwards, and oh, fantastic. Actually, will he go home tonight and say, guess what, family,
raise a glass. I can't see him doing it.
No,
I don't think
he's like
he might raise the glass and go a little bit comfortable if he won the league.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing.
He'd have the cigar back out.
Those wins.
He'd have
the cigar back out.
Yeah, those wins are part of a journey for him and the players.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like those wins will matter more if he gets to the end of the season, as he said, and he's won a Premier League title. Then he can look at all the other things that come in relation to that. Yeah,
it's amazing that we're all following the club, the growth.
Yeah,
it's just another journey.
Yeah, it really is.
At the moment, isn't it? I think we've got to realise in the first half where we're thinking, 0-0, it's struggling, we're a little bit tense.
Not a bad position to be in, is it?
You know, this is great here. We've got the win, and if it wasn't the case, I'm still looking and going, it's getting better and better and better, and you can't win every game.
No,
you
really can't.
Honestly, we want to. But we've got to be realistic at times. It's just that's what we all love about football. It's not a certainty. You want it to be as a supporter, don't you?
Yeah.
But that little bit of anxious moments make the wins all that much
they really
sweeter.
do. In Pep, we trust. So, gents, that's more or less it from us here in the studio. Now, remember as well, for all more things City, you can, of course, get on the Manchester City app. Of course, as well, check out City Plus. Loads of documentaries on there. But finally, of course, I think myself and Michael, we're going to be back on Saturday for the big game. How can you see that one playing out?
He's looking at me. You want to be
back, Nathan? You're going to miss us.
I didn't know that was your seat.
Yeah, well, listen, no, I'm going to go and jump on that one. I'm going to jump on that one at the weekend. But no, another great opportunity. A team who are hurting, who are actually obviously fighting for their lives, really finding things difficult. They've got a couple of results, and they look like they're getting a performance. Obviously, the manager understands how to get the best out of these teams and organise teams out of possession especially. So it's not going to be easy. It'll be hard to break down for sure. But again, it's another one we're looking for. I think it's a good game with the amount of games that are coming up.
Yeah, and there was a little bit, I think Pep was saying, a few weeks ago, we didn't quite have all the players available. When we talk about City, have got great squad depth and rotation. It does feel now, obviously touch wood on a couple of the knocks tonight, though, that finally the full squad is kind of coming back at just the right time, Nedum, so we can start to maybe see a Jesus, Sterling and Grealish coming into the fold possibly at the weekend as well.
Yeah, that's very possible, and this is why you have that squad for these type of moments, these type of run-ins where you need to make changes, but you don't want the quality to drop off. Yeah. And I think for the players who can come in, they can make a real difference in any game. And going into the weekend, like Watford are a tough side to play against because they're fighting for their lives. But there's enough quality from the starting 11 today, from the people on the bench, and hopefully, as I say, some of those guys remain healthy for the weekend to make it, a case of this is business, this is what we do, and we understand your situation, Watford, but we don't care. We've got our own.
We go again. Gents, absolute pleasure as always. Thank you so much for your time and for your insight. It is very much appreciated, and thank you to all you great people at home for watching. So as I say, Matchday Live, as we are with you every game of the season. I'll be back on Saturday with Michael Brown. And if you want to get a bit more football before then, Friday, our EDS has the chance to win the Premier League too. I mean, the good news for Manchester City's academy just keeps flowing in. It's at Ellen Road, and you can have the chance to watch it live. So you can stream that on City Plus, and you can hopefully watch our EDS win yet another Premier League too. And then on the Saturday, it does require Liverpool to lose, but if Liverpool lose and our under-18s win, they will also be champions. So the good news keeps on rolling in. Thank you again to our guests. Thank you to Alistair Mann. We'll see you on Saturday. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks for watching.
Oh, Balotelli late. He's on a yellow already. And Balotelli may well see his season end here.
I can lip read myself saying so stupid. It just seemed like that's the kind of mode we were in. It wasn't particularly at Mario, it was at myself, it was at all of us, it was at us as a group. We were messing it up, we were messing something up that we might not get again.
Well, Mancini put his faith in Balotelli, and that is how the Madcap Maverick has repaid him.
Mancini said, after the game, he said, on the bus, he told me that I never play again. But because he was angry, obviously.